what you need to understand is Sufism calls that liberation, Buddhism does not call that liberation. Christianity calls that liberation. Like, for example, salvation is if you believe in Christ, when you die, you go to the kingdom of heaven, and that is salvation. To Buddhism, that is not salvation, that is not liberation. That is just a stopgap, temporary stopgap. And like that, in Hinduism also, whatever they call mukti, liberation, to Buddhism, that is not liberation. And to understand that, you have to need a totally different lecture, to understand Buddhism, and what Buddhism calls liberation and why it calls that liberation and not other things liberation. They are like more steps on lower rungs of ladder, rather than liberation itself, enlightenment itself. I'll give you an example, a very simple example. Nowadays, enlightenment is the English word enlightenment is a very common word. Unfortunately, it is not defined properly, what is meant by enlightenment. But Gyan is very properly defined in Hinduism and properly defined in Buddhism, right? Now, in Hinduism, Gyan is Atma Gyan, right? The self-realization, that's the English word, self-realization. And what is self? According to Shankaracharya and the Shankar Vedanta, and therefore other systems as well, which are heavily influenced by Shankar Vedanta, even though they use their own terminologies and so on, is that this awareness that is aware of everything, is the Atma. This awareness is the Atma. We all have awareness. We are aware of what is going on there. I hear, see, feel, think. I'm aware of all this. That's very simple, But most people don't recognize this awareness. They are not even aware of it. They are aware of everything else except this awareness, right? And the whole crux of the matter of Vedanta is to make you aware of that awareness. In Sanskrit, technical Sanskrit, Vedantic Sanskrit, it is called Sakshi, witness, Drashta, watcher, Jnata, knower, and this knower knows everything. Everything is changing, everything else is changing, except this knower which keeps on knowing. So it is unchanging, right? This is unchanging, it just keeps on knowing. It is like a mirror in which everything is reflected. Now I'm talking from Vedantic point of view. Buddhism does not agree with this, okay? So you can experience it. Yes, I have this awareness. Even the word I have is not correct. There is this awareness that is aware of everything. Every moment to moment, thought, feeling, emotions, sounds out there, it's continuously aware. And we have the feeling that it is the same awareness, right? Now, the whole Vedantic thing and the entire Hindu system is based on this base. This awareness is Satchit Ananda. You have heard of the word Satchit Ananda. Shankaracharya himself defines Atma as Satchit Ananda Swarupa. In his Tattva Bodh, Atma Tarika, what is Atma? Satchidananda Swarupa. Satchidananda Swarupa iti. But the simple Satchidananda Swarupa. Sat means unchanging. Chit, Ananda. Chit means knowing, awareness. Ananda is blissful. If you meditate on this awareness, remaining this awareness continuously, you will start to have bliss. You will start feeling very blissful automatically. And that is the Atma. If you know the Atma, you are enlightened. Atma Gyan, self-realization. Then of course there are degrees of that enlightenment. If you practice according to Yoga Vasishtha, there are 7, 8 different levels of that enlightenment. But once you know it, you are enlightened. That this Atma is my true nature. This awareness here is my true nature. And the world out there has nothing to do with me. Even this I is something that is reflected in the awareness. I, thoughts, all these are just reflected in that awareness. This awareness is unchanging, eternal, Sat. That is the meaning of Sat. The word Satya, Satta, all this comes from the same word, Sat. And Shankaracharya himself defines in Tattva Bodh what is Sat. Kala Traya api tishtatiti. That which remains the same in all three times. And when we experience this right now, you feel like, yes, it's the same awareness remaining. Things are coming, that the dog is growling there, he's coughing there, I'm seeing this word, but it's the same awareness that is happening here. That is aware of all these things. So that is, I'm oversimplifying it, of course, that is Atma. And knowing that Atma is Atma Gyan. Knowing means not thinking about it, experiencing it. And knowing this is my true self, is Atma Gyan. Now, that is liberation, starting of liberation, mukti. Somebody that knows that is a mukta. And when he dies, he has no more birth and life and birth, birth and death and birth again, according to Vedanta. But Buddhism says, wait a minute, you are saying that is unchanging, it is not unchanging, it is changing moment to moment to moment to moment. This awareness, this knower, the knower is defined by what it knows. If it does not know anything, there is no knower, there is no awareness. So the knower, the hearer, the thinker is defined by the thought or what it knows and awareness. So the knower is the knower of, like, what is your name?
Suyog. Suyog.
Suyog. Okay, so the knower is the knower of Suyog. Now if this knower is eternal, I would be knowing Suyog eternally, because I'm unchanging, eternal. But the next moment it is the growling of the dog. And this knower, the growling of the dog knower, is not the knower of Suyog. Because the knower is defined by the known. There is no knower without the known. It's even semantically meaningless. If it does not know, it's not a knower. If it is not aware, it is not awareness. So therefore it is changing moment to moment to moment, and therefore it is not Sat. And your grasping to it as Sat is what is keeping you in samsara. If you break through it, through meditation on emptiness, then you will be liberated. Not by simply knowing this awareness. So here you have two different concepts of liberation. Mukti. The words are the same, but what is meant there is different. So like this, especially in the Indian subcontinent, there is a lot of the same words used in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, but they mean different things. They have in fine points a different point, a different word. That is why the Buddha emphasized samyak drishti, correct view. As long as you have a wrong view, no matter how you meditate or what meditation you do, you will not be enlightened. You have to have the correct view. Samyak means correct. And view, drishti is view. How this world really is, how this here is really is. The correct view. How do you get that? Through analysis and then meditation. You get to that. The Buddha never said, believe in me. Find out for yourself whether what I'm saying is correct or not. Of course, for 2,600 years, he has been proven correct. But still, every generation, you must find out. You should not blindly believe in what the Buddha said. You should find out for yourself whether what he said is correct experientially or not. So, there's a difference in Vedanta, and therefore most of Hinduism, you believe because it is written in the sutra. And Krishna said it, or whoever said it, Shankaracharya said it, so you believe it. You can't contradict him. Although there is an element in Hinduism also that you can question. but it is not as strong as in Buddhism, because in Buddhism the Buddha himself said it. Shankaracharya himself, when he started 7th, 8th century, when he started going up and down India, his mission was that the Veda is right, no matter what. And we must defeat all others. Not whether Veda is right or not, let's find out. The Veda is right. So these kind of attitudes makes a difference between Buddhism and Hinduism, Buddhist Tantra and Hindu Tantra, and so on. Well, the similarities, the problem is, like you see, I hesitate to call them similarities because there are always differences there, right? Like for example, both has mantras, the use of mantras, Om Mani Padme Hum or Om Namah Shivaya, right? So those are similarities, you could say, right? But again, Om Namah Shivaya or whatever, Kali's mantras, whatever mantra, usually Kali's mantra is related to the beads Krim, so they say Krim Krim, Hum Hum, Phat Phat, and then that you repeat that, and that, the similarity between Om Mani Padme Hum and this mantra is that, which both Hindu and Buddhist Tantra would agree, is that they vibrate inside when you repeat them, and they affect the channels, affect the various channels. In that, Hindu Tantra and Buddhist Tantra would agree to that, But that is why in Buddhism, it's very important what mantra you take. Because if wrong channels are vibrating, you have wrong kind of views arising within you. Wrong kind of experiences arising within you. So in Buddhist Tantra, it is very, very important who you take it with and what mantra you are taking. All mantras, whether Hindu, Buddhist or Jain, affect you when you repeat the mantras, right? But how they affect you will be different. Some are not so conducive, especially in Buddhist context. If you have practiced Buddhist practices for a long period and then you take a wrong mantra, like from some Hindu person or a Buddhist or let's say shamans, and you repeat it, you can feel it very strongly. It's kind of contradicting what you've been doing all so far. So the concept that they vibrate within you and create certain inner vibrations within you is similar. And in Buddhist Tantra, this is not clearly said in Hindu Tantra also, although they do talk about the vibrations and so on. In Buddhist Tantra, the Sanskrit alphabet, ka, kha, ga, ga, nga. I don't mean Devanagari, just the sound, ka, kha, ga, ga, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, ya, are all related to various nadis. So when I repeat kam, 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 then one particular nadi, you understand nadi? Nadi is the channel, begins to vibrate. If I repeat kam, 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 another will start vibrating, And so the and a, I, e, u, ri, ri, li, li, a, I, o, So all of these are mantras, In Buddhist language, it's called Kali, Ali Kali. Ali means a, I, e, u, ri, li, I, and Kali is kaka, gaga, cha, sa, ta, pa, ma, yara, la, sa, and so on. So they vibrate, and there are nadis which shouldn't vibrate because they create unnecessary emotional turmoil within you. And there are nadis which, when vibrating, begins to create compassion within you. So Buddhist Tantra is very specific about mantras, but the principle is the same, what mantra does. And again, there's one point related to what you're saying, also slightly interesting for other people also, is like, you see, from very ancient time in the Indian subcontinent, probably even before the Vedas came into India, in the Indus Valley civilization period, probably, I don't know, right? But the concept that many deities You see, when we talk about the mantras, they are always related to some deity. They are always related to some deity. And in the Hindu context, the mantras are considered as the soul of the deity. But it is, in Buddhism there is no soul, so we can't call it the soul of the deity. We call it the essence of the deity. The essence of the deity. And from ancient time, even in the Vedas, there's mention that many deities are not happy that people become enlightened. There is a sloka in Vidyadhara Upanishad, which is like maybe 300 or 400 years older than the Buddha. Yatha havai bhavo pasavo manusyam bhunju evam ekeka purusho devan bhunakti ekasminneva pasabhadya amane apriyam bhavati kimu bausu tasmad esam tanna priyam ere tan manusya vidyu. It says, just like a shepherd, if he loses one sheep or cattle, he'll feel very sad, he'll be unhappy. Likewise, these humans are the cattle of these devas. And it is true, all around the world, the various devas are worshipped. You are the Lord, you are the Master, everything, like they are the cattle and they are the great beings, right? And so human beings are like cattle to these devas. And if one human being becomes enlightened, he goes higher than those devas. And then he loses a sheep. And therefore, tasmad tesam tanna priyam. Therefore, for them it is not pleasing. Ere tan manusya vidya means that manusya means human, men, manusya, men know this. Know what? The way to enlightenment, the way to liberation. And because of that, there have always been deities who have challenged Buddhism and Buddha. And these were the ones that were eventually controlled and made into dharmapals. But there are still millions and millions of devas. Like there are billions of human beings, there are billions and billions of devas, and many of them are still not happy. Now, if you repeat their mantra, you become attached to them and you go away from the path of enlightenment. Therefore, what mantra you do, what mantra you take, Buddhism is very careful about it and very specific about it. So that's one similarity. Then the concept of deva is similar, not exactly same but similar. There are devas out there, and sometimes, like in the Shaiva system, the deva is made into the mind as well, into the mind as well, and which is called Sambhavi Vidya. Sambhavi Vidya in the Shaiva Tantra system. So that's one similarity. And again, the concept of mukti, enlightenment or liberation is there. But then what is meant by mukti is different. Even though the idea of mukti is all over the Indian subcontinent, in all systems, not just in Tantra, not just in Buddhism, but even in non-Tantric Hinduism, the concept of mukti and liberation is there. Some of them, liberation would be going to the realm of that particular deity and living there eternally, like Christianity, the kingdom of heaven. But to Buddhism, there is no eternal kingdom of heaven. There is no you don't remain eternally in heaven. You remain there as long as your karma gives you. Then you come back again as a human or even lower down or wherever. So there are words which are similar, but again when you go to the nitty-gritties, they become different. They have different meanings and they have different definitions. So those are some of the similarities. The idea there is liberation, and the attempt to liberate yourself is similar in the entire Indian subcontinent. The nadis and chakras, we talked about the nadis and so on, we find it in Hindu Tantra also, we find it in Buddhist Tantra also. But how you practice with that is different. How you use that is different. And also, it's like now the most famous, the chakras and so on, that is literally strewn all over the internet, and on all the texts and books are both basically Hindu chakras. They don't fit in with what Buddhist tantric practices call chakras. And the central nadi, they have a central nadi, both. And so their left and right nadis, both have left and right nadis. And their chakras, both have. But that's where it ends. Now how the central nadi is used, how the left and right nadis are used, what they do, all the instructions are very different again.